Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. For the difficult is the topic of the day, a quote made famous by fellow YouTuber Kyriakos Grizzly, this insanely strong Greek guy who is also fat as fuck. And he's that kind of guy you just gotta respect. And maybe you're surprised, me looking this way, that I would say this, you know, thinking about the topics I talk about on this channel and what I coach and what you guys ask me a lot about. Weight loss, right? It's a big one on this channel. But this guy is one of those guys where it's just so obvious that it is a choice. And not, you know, the cope, it's a choice. I just choose to be this way. I treat myself to the food and this, I'm happy with this. You know, I'm choosing this. It's the ego story people tell themselves, you know, to that just feels better than I'm a fucking failure and I can't lose the weight. But this guy is obviously self-aware of the fact and he's just, you know, gone into it. He's gonna be this fucking beast of a man weighing nearly 200 kilos. And so his thing is that he does these insane high rep sets on compound exercises with insane amounts of weights. Like he'll do 20 plus reps on some big exercises with a weight that would be impressive for a lot of people to just be able to do once, you know. And so once he was asked on his Instagram, just by some random commenter, Kyriakos, why do you train? And he answered, for the difficult. And it's such a beautiful answer, and it's a nice entry point to a topic that you guys have requested. I recently put out a poll. I asked you what kind of subjects, video subjects, would you like to see more about, and I asked you to elaborate in the comment section. And a lot of you requested more about mental health, depression, and nihilism, really, even though no one used that specific word. But you know, feelings of meaninglessness, hopelessness, no drive, you know, being in this spot where you see no meaning to life and you see no way out. And so the mistake all of you do with this, and that I did in the past too, is that you think that something can change before you do, you know, that something can just happen so that you now feel better about taking action in your life. It can't happen that way. It can't happen that way. And this is the story I've told over and over about the panic attacks when I finally learned this, because I had this victim mentality, you know. And victim mentality is one thing to recognize that you can literally be a victim. If someone comes with a gun and says, give me your money, you're literally a victim, but it's like being attached to that. Like, oh, how could this happen to me? Oh, if only this didn't happen, da-da-da-da. But the way you should see those things is just, I was a victim. That was unfair. It was uncomfortable. It was not my fault. But now I'm here. What do I do now? You know, because even a lot of things that happen to you are not your fault, but then dealing with it is your responsibility. No one else can fix this for you. So my big thing in life, my biggest, like, you know, trauma or sorrow was that I had such intense stage fright, you know, that which obviously it was terrible for me because I felt like I was meant to do this. You know, you just look at me, you know, I'm great at talking to an audience and, well, singing to an audience, but that's not really what I do on this channel most of the time anyway. But I felt like I had this curse, like, why is this like this? Why am I like this? If only I wasn't like this, I'd be able to do this and this, you know. And I was looking for all these solutions outside of myself. Like, for instance, I also happen to have a heritable condition that I have this tremor, constant tremor that I always have. And it's not really a problem for me, you know, in my everyday life. It's too small, but when I got nervous, you know, since my baseline is kind of like the normal person in that sense, that doesn't have this constant tremor, that's the way, when they get nervous, that's how I tremble all the time. So when I got nervous, I got like very, very shaky. And there are beta blockers for that I of course got, you know, but they didn't, you know, take away it fully. And also it's just physical. I still felt that fear inside, the emotional fear just blocked the physical effect from it a lot, and I wanted more, of course. So I was looking to all these things, like, how do you get rid of stage fright? I'm Googling it, like, I want to solve this. I want to get rid of the stage fright before going on stage. And I remember I looked into this. There is this medical procedure you can do for this tremor, because it's like excessive or unnecessary, I'm not finding the word really, but impulses from your brain that causes this tremor, and you can go in and cut something off so that just these unnecessary impulses stop. And I really wanted to do this, you know. It's quite drastic to want to do something in your brain that isn't, you know, necessary for your really health or survival like that, right? But then finally, I had this first panic attack, and that's kind of when I just knew this is up to me now. There's fucking nothing that's just gonna save me from this. This is so fucking terrible and intense that there's just no pill will fix it. No, I don't know, therapy, just talking to someone. I need to confront this. I'm gonna have to confront this and try to overcome it, you know. Finally, I got it. And so you know the story if you've been following me. If you haven't, long story short is that I had to confront this on a daily basis, you know. I had to go, I tried to go to work. Many times I didn't even get there, or I had to leave early. Many other different situations where this happened. And going over, you know, this feeling of like I'm facing death over and over and over, coming a little closer, sometimes actually overcoming the panic attack and being able to be in that spot. And then finally I came out on the other side when I didn't have the panic attacks anymore. And something had changed within me, and I decided to give, you know, training and working on my physical health a go that I really had never seriously done. I had trained sometimes, you know, I built a little bit of muscle in my teens and stuff, but never really, you know, seriously looked out for my health. And then I started it, and you know, I don't like it. I'm not used to it. The first workout I was sore for a week just from doing pull-ups, you know, I feel. But then I noticed after just 2 weeks, I clearly felt better. I was still kind of, you know, even though I didn't get panic attacks, I could feel this like uneasiness within me. But all of a sudden, it was like there was like just a lid on the pot. It couldn't boil over. And this is when I put the 2 and 2 together. It is when we face the difficult, that's when we struggle and overcome that we get the opposite, that we get stronger. So you understand, if you are this kind of person sitting there now, with your nihilistic outlook on life, and you're like, I'm feeling like shit, and I don't even have the drive to do anything about it. Look, I'm doing this voice, and I want to make fun of you. I know it's terrible. It's very difficult to be. I felt like that way too. It's not me being unempathetic. It's just that I kind of want to wake you up out of this fucking coma or whatever we're going to call it. It's like nothing, if you don't change anything, nothing is going to change. Do you understand? For the difficult, that's why we do these things. And you have to understand that everything exists by contrast. It's because things can be difficult that things can be nice and not difficult, and you can feel good. Because we can feel terrible that you can feel good. And what I've come to realize is, you know, most people, you know, a lot of people have gone through some kind of struggle in life, right? But most people have not experienced what I experienced to that degree, you know. My childhood, traumatic childhood, and then this fucking panic attack episode, you know. It is because I felt a lot worse than other people that I've been able to rise to higher heights than most people. Do you understand? That's why some people that never really experience, you know, that kind of hardship, they don't, you know, I'm not going to say that they don't get anywhere, but in some regards, like, you know, you're going to see that a lot of guys and women, you know, that have reached some kind of high level, very often in the physical realm, you know, training, there's almost never a time where there isn't a story of immense suffering and pain that they had to go through. And that's what motivated them to do this. That's what made them find this connection that, it is when I face the difficult that I get stronger. It's when I face the difficult that I then get to face the easy, right? And this is the choice we have in life. Life is difficult. It's always going to be. It's like, choose your difficult. Are you just going to sit around, do the instant gratification thing, you know, drugs, alcohol, porn, binge watching series, playing video games every day, scrolling mindlessly on the phone, all this bullshit, you know, that then just wears you out. And when you don't have access to that, you feel empty inside, like you do if you ask me about this, you know. Or are you going to choose to do something difficult now so that you can feel better afterwards? This is what you got to understand. So look, the point is not, because if you are in that state, you don't have a lot to give at all. I know it. You talk about it yourself. Like you have no drive, right? But the thing is, it's not that you have to go on. Yeah, now I'm feeling like shit. I'm depressed. I'm fat. I'm unhealthy. Okay, I copy Theo's current lifestyle. No, that's not what it's all about at all, you know. But you have to do something more. You have to face a little bit of difficulty. Like, even if you have social anxiety, you barely go out because of that, you know. Just fucking going out for 10 minutes, being among people, that's doing something. That's facing the difficult. It might seem to you when you compare it to someone like me that just do all the extreme things, or someone else in your life, you know, that it's nothing, but it's a lot for you. You can't compare yourself in this. And look, do you understand that my thing was just being able to fucking go to a job, that the job was not in and of itself difficult when I felt okay, you know, but so just going there was difficult for me, just going out and going there. And eventually, you know, I've faced more and more situations like this, and this is over. When I started training, do you think that I started training the way I do now, just doing, you know, 6 times per week, walking everywhere, doing a bunch of extra mobility workouts and shit, you know? Do you think that's how I started? No, I started literally with like 15 minutes every other day. And I walked a bit more, and I just improved my diet in the way that I knew, like, okay, I'll eat less junk, you know, less microwave food than I tried to eat like regular food, you know. And then gradually, this was difficult for me. I remember when I did pull-ups only for the 2 first weeks, I added push-ups after the first 2 weeks. Remember, I hated doing it. I didn't like doing it then, you know, because I was not used to it. And I remember I found excuses between the sets to like put it up a bit. Oh no, let me just go fix this for you know. But I got it done, you know. And then eventually I could do a bit more, you know. I could add in my push-ups, and I could add in some leg exercises. And you know, all of a sudden I have a routine where I actually do stuff. I actually each morning, because I was studying, I was just finishing my journalism degree that I didn't really care about, but I was like 85% done. You know, had I been like 50% done, I probably had just left it. But it was like symbolically, did I really do 5 out of 6 terms? Like, no, let's do the fucking last one. But I didn't have to be in school much. So every morning, the routine I walked in this forest for like 1.5 hours maybe, and I had my little strength routines. I had 2 different workouts to eventually, you know, that I swapped every other workout. And then after having done this kind of routine for 4.5 years, switching around the diet a bit, going to a cut with a keto diet, and then I started, you know, going to the gym at the end of the year. And I started going like 4 times per week, you know. Eventually I started going 5 times. Eventually I started going 6 times. And then I perfected it, like the way I train, the intensity and adding mobility exercise, you know, learning skills, you know, improving my diet more, trying the fasting, you know. Do you see how it has to happen? You see how it has to happen. It's just, you have to face the difficult little by little, and your life is going to be so easy. Like right now, it's not that it's going to be permanently easy. Life is there's always going to come up and down. Even when you take good care of yourself like this, you know, tragedies in life can still happen. But you've now, because of all the difficult you chose self-imposed adversity, you're now much stronger and able to deal with it. That's me when in my lower state this year, at the start of this year, where I had kind of a depression, you know. I feel terrible about myself because I'm not like I am now, and I know I can be like this when I'm just super productive. The shit I get done in a day, most people don't get done in a week, you know. And when I'm so far from that, I feel terrible about myself. But looking back at it, I was still like, I was coaching 10 clients, I was going to the gym 6 times per week, making progress, bulking. Even though I was depressed and didn't have the appetite, I did get all the fucking food down. You know, I have good appetite otherwise, but when you're depressed, you know, I can eat, but just bulking, force feeding like that, very difficult. I did that, you know. What more did I do? Like, I even got some new clients, you know, because I feel like in that I should be doing more. I should be growing more. But when you look at it, I maintained all the essential stuff that a lot of people can't do with the training, you know, the healthy lifestyle. You know, I sleep well, all this, you know. I don't resort to copes like a bunch of drugs or starting my old cope, trying to get laid. It's always been my big one when I feel bad about myself, you know, get validation like that. I did none of that, you know. So you see how much fucking stronger I am because of all the difficult I've chosen. After the panic attacks, that wasn't really a choice. I mean, I could have chosen to just go on medication and hide inside or something. So this is what you got to understand. And that's why now, even in my high state, it's even fucking difficult for me to find stuff that I think is difficult. Because, you know, especially in my high state where I'm not dealing with any like emotional pain and I feel very good about myself. Like, you know, I take cold showers every morning. They're not difficult at all. In fact, I look forward to them. I stand and shake in there. They help me wake up, you know. I will say in the winter they are more difficult, you know. Yeah, the training, not really that difficult. Like, every single day, I'm not quite as excited to train, but for the most part, at this point, I just like it. It's not really that difficult. You always have those exercises that are a little, you know, extra hard. But what I will do then is I'll throw in some kind of epic set, like a double drop set or something that is difficult, you know. And my most recent thing is that I can't really stand the taste of raw beef liver, but it's uncomfortable for me to do it. I feel like puking. So just progressively overloading. I started with 1 piece and then 2 pieces and now I'm up to 3 pieces. It's going to take a while to get past the 3 pieces, you know. But I've also done this, that I've started to tan naked, you know, and I do it. I of course try to hide away. I talked about this in other videos. It's not about that you want to expose yourself to people, but when you do, like if I do it here, when there's really no people around now, but someone could walk by, right? And because of the norms, it's kind of scary, right? So I do this. I'm looking for fear. I also done on my live streams, I tried to go for 1 rep maxes that are, or 1 rep maxes, but heavy singles, you know, that I'm not sure if I can do. Like I was doing a searcher, ass to grass past searcher squat, and 130 kilos was the plan. I was sitting talking to chat and I was like, guys, I don't even feel afraid of this lift. This is no good, you know. And so I added on the last 5 kilos there. And now all of a sudden I wasn't sure that I was going to make it. And then it starts pounding. And I held this, in my opinion, a little epic speech. You know what? Actually, let's put it in here. Now I'm getting nervous, guys. Wish me luck. I am nervous. But you just quite can't tell because my stoic levels are high. I am enjoying being nervous. I know that it's not actually dangerous even. I know that it will be a little chaotic. That I can contain the chaos just that I contain myself. If I'm aware, psychologically, you know, I'm having a little bit of exophobia when I do this because it's not gonna make any difference really, but I try to put up doing it and I'm giving myself time to find courage or more fear. I choose. It's more courage. Let's go, guys. Yeah! So guys, do you see that the guy who once suffered from stage fright and felt like it was terrible and there's no way out, hopeless, it never gets better, now that guy, live on stream, feels like he's not uncomfortable, afraid enough and chooses to add weight. And it's all of this, guys. That's why I keep growing, because I had that first challenge thrown upon me that I could have run from, but you know, I didn't quite choose to get the challenge, you know. But I went through it, and since then, I've chosen the difficult. For the difficult. That's why I do all the shit I do. For the difficult, because doing the difficult is what's gonna make everything else easier. Alright guys, please let me know what you think. Please let me know if there's anything that caught your attention that you'd like me to elaborate on. I love to do this. You can always come at these topics from many different angles, right? So please let me know, please like, please comment anyway. All comments and likes help support the channel. It's very much appreciated. Please consider becoming a Patreon. The link is in the description. I just love it. Love it if all of you gave me $1 at least per month. I'd get by and be able to do so much higher production value, invest that money into the channel, and yeah, please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, mental health, stoicism, philosophy, the struggle, all that kind of cool shit, guys. For the difficult. Peace.